little red lines on the stick. Holy guacamole. Tom, come here. I remember the day, the elation, the nerves. We were about to become members of this brand new unknown club, Parenthood. I was sitting at home navigating the nappies and the feeds and the sleep schedule, and I was thinking, have I showered today? When does solids start? Should I give her a bath? And my heart was so full. I mean, how couldn't it be? Just look at her. It lasted for 10 days. 10 days of normalness, of messiness, of joy. And my gut said something wasn't right. We went to the hospital just in case. But the news that followed, it floored us. Your baby has leukemia. Rumi spent 9 months being treated in that hospital before the doctors told us there's nothing more they could do. She gave me the gift of her smiles and laughter and my first ever Mother's Day. And the day after, she was gone. My world turned dark and heavy. Life lost all colour. And without choice, I became a member of a completely different unknown club. Grief. This club, it was horrid. There was no induction, no welcome pack. There wasn't even a club president. I asked someone else inside, what are we actually doing here? And she said, I don't really know. We just sit around broken and cry and isolate ourselves. And I said, I'd like to cancel my membership. But she said, that's impossible. This is your club for life. And I begged and I pleaded, but they just wouldn't budge. I told my dad and sister, I don't want to be here anymore. But the sound of their piercing reaction made me realize I have to find a way to survive. So I started researching, but what I found was devastating. People were broken 10, 20, 30 years on. Hope faded, and I resigned to the fact that my life would be broken forever. Then months on, I was swimming through a sea of sadness in an online grief group, and this one lady's comment stood out. She said, I am going to live a life so rich, so full, and so magical in honor of my child. Someone was doing grief differently, and that changed something in me. And I adopted the goal almost instantly. And in my heart, I felt closer to Rumi. So I went for it. First, I wrote a letter to the universe and said, I'm ready to start living. Of course, I didn't post that letter. Where is the post office for the universe? And then I got myself a coach and a big executive role. And then I started studying the science of what makes humans thrive. And life, it felt better. Maybe I'd found a roadmap. Until I started getting letters from the grief club. We haven't seen you at any meetings in a while, Kim. Where have you been? And this guilt and shame and heaviness, it flooded back in. And I thought I'd found my way, but this club sucks. I mean, where are the SOPs? Do they even have an HR department? But the truth was, the club was right. I had been so busy rebuilding this big life I completely bypassed my pain. So I stopped running and I went back to the club. And first I went on my own to journal and cry. And then I brought a therapist or five. And when I sat with my emotions and gave them space and gave them a name, I thought I'd become heavier, but the opposite happened. Even though it was messy, I ended up feeling lighter and stronger and able to carry my grief with more grace. And with this newfound strength, I was able to lean back into life, choosing the things that truly light me up, not just keep me busy. Things like quitting my corporate job and creating, painting, writing, keynote speeches. And every creation I build, I get to hang up in the walls of this dark club, making it more colorful and more light. And I've also been doing a lot, you guessed it, Zumba. Don't judge me, it still exists and I absolutely love it. And of course, chocolate. This one's a very close tie with human connection, so I'm not quite sure. But over time, I've found my rhythm. When grief calls, I go to the club. And when life calls, I lean back in. And I realized pain and joy can coexist. And when you intentionally honor both, you can truly settle in to healing and growth. So I'm feeling quite proud of how I've been navigating this club. I did a little something. I gave myself a promotion. So if you ever find yourself in a club that no one wants to join and you start getting frustrated with how badly it's run, just say the word and I'll leave my manual at your door. It won't erase your pain, but it may just inspire you to build something alongside of it that's just as magnificent as the person you lost. With love, your club president.